Chapter 7. Pain can be piercing but powerful. I will say people are exceptional at hiding their scars. There are some people with deep scars and wounds, things that they live with yet continue to march on. They carry themselves confidently and look well put together. They've had something major happen to them, they've buried it so they can move on and try to live life. You begin to start realizing just how many of us are broken and we never really fix ourselves. We don't really know how to. There's fear and anxiety that you don't want to let go of, and it's a big part of it. If you let go of it, then there's a false pretense that you don't care anymore or you're all healed up. So what does it all mean when we are going through the process that you hide your feelings and pretend like everything is okay? There's a time and a place to cry, and I understand the need sometimes to have that emotional breakdown. I've watched grown men cry over their situation, but the story shouldn't end with your feelings being on the table. You must be emotionally strong if you ever want to handle the weight of leadership. People will drag you down with their problems because they have nothing else to live for, but for that tiny drama they can create. You must be real with yourself and continue to find those joys in your life. It's good to still talk about those painful moments, but don't hold on to them too long. They need to be the reason you reach the next level of growth and not the reason you're stuck in the same situation, still talking about all the things that didn't work out. I personally don't like to talk about things that have happened to me, but I also know that there's relief in just opening up about it, or sharing a story or two to help others know you understand their situation. We typically connect with people when we have empathy and can understand what they're going through. We hold on so tight to everything that has happened to us, but we must learn to let it go, even if it's a little bit at a time. We must see that life can be so much more if we pursue so much more. You must train the body and the mind to overcome the mundane and monotonous issues that force you to lose your edge. These demons can come in any shape or form because they are connected to doubt, failure, and a slow drip of falling back into your comfort zone. Those demons are good because they drive us. We can't stand them, but it's what helps us say no more and persevere through some times in our life that we would rather forget than hold on to as leverage. There's a lot of fighting within ourselves, so much anger, hate, frustration, and whatever vice we hold on to that we must let go. Your battle, a prisoner of war, can't co-pilot with the new you. I know this from experience because it took me so long to finally let go. I knew I couldn't change my past, but I knew I had to move on. That day was special for me because something let go of me that I didn't even realize how tight the grip was. It was closure, but not as you expect it to be. I didn't get my last words or an apology, but I gave forgiveness in my heart and soul. That forgiveness gave me the ability to move on and inspired me to improve every aspect of my life that I could control. I was true to myself, and it allowed me to see what true freedom was. Being true to yourself comes with a need to be authentic. We must be authentic. We spend so many years finding our place, proving that we believe in truth, only to find out everyone else around us has the same false perception. We think everyone is watching our every move, when in reality they aren't watching because they're of all their insecurities they are trying to live with. We fear and struggle the most with what we don't understand. Just as many see strong people well put together on the outside, they have no idea the fears, anxiety, or stress they carry each day on the inside. You may not understand their responsibilities or weight that they carry. The same goes for strong and bold people. They worry about the livelihoods of those they lead. They worry about the next move and how to maintain what they've built. There are struggles to be at peace with their situation, and even someone like a CEO, manager, or business owner will walk among us standing firm but hold silent desperation inside. They still have worry, but they believe in their ability and gift to lead each day. When a person gets to the end of their life, they want to know that it was worth something. They want to know that all the sacrifices and decisions made had some sort of purpose and not pointless dead air that took place in time. My pursuit allowed me to coach different boys' sports for 10 years, but along the way I was teaching these boys how to be men. I couldn't replace what I'd felt from my past, but I knew I could teach them maturity, emotional control, and show them what love looks like. The love for those boys went far beyond the court or the field, and I showed them how love comes in many forms. The process always started with giving expectations and accountability for their own actions. Teaching sports from youth to high school, I was able to learn leadership from all levels, which naturally helped me with adults. How many adults still yearn to be children again? Whether it's to relive a moment missed or to simply avoid facing the pressures of adulthood, we sink back into childlike tendencies. This isn't uncommon, but it's no way to live. We can't kill the trauma or drama, so we fill it with useless and lifeless things to fill the void. Stop depending on those vices and find yourself. Get your health in line, exercise, take walks, take time for yourself, and see who you really are. Why are we left still so afraid of facing ourselves? We don't understand the person inside of us, and when we start exploring it, we find ourselves on watch. Guilt to do what we know we should do, shame for the things we can't change, and disappointment because we aren't living up to the potential that calls out every day. Face it, you can't do it alone, and you can't see what this life has to offer if you miss the amazing person inside of you. Be on a mission to become the greatest. Think of your life moving as chance. You make it, it goes exactly to plan, and you're a hero. If it doesn't, then there are consequences. You live with the mistake of falling short. These risks don't have to be calculated down to the detail, but you do have to be smart about it. It's okay to fail because you can learn so much from the process, but make sure that you don't lose who you are or your family along the way. You must remain true to yourself and make sure you have strong relationships to fall back on. Who are you then if you're stuck in an average situation? My wife once said that no one should have to work in a place they don't like or become victims to society's cycle. I told her, though, from experience, that some of these people use just enough brain power to breathe, eat, and sleep. The rest just falls under luck. Everyone has a purpose and usually a circumstance. Most are depressed, anxiety-ridden, selfish, lack control, lack self-confidence, so instead of pursuing a healthy, fulfilled life, they settle for what they become instead of all the things that they can become. Survive it and try to enjoy it is the only mental state they know. They watched their parents do it and others around them, so they fell in line. Don't become a statistic by believing that hard work and self-development have no place in this world. Those hard times can't harden you from becoming something amazing, something worth talking about. Survival is a part of our instincts. You were born with them to fight to survive since you were a baby. So why would your joy be any different? Stop hoping you can enjoy life and live it. Be fulfilled with even the smallest blessing and see where your life goes, especially when you stop viewing life as a never-ending cycle of torture. Most of the time, only the inclination of doubt exists, and then with all the power in the world, we begin to destroy ourselves and carry out all the fears and failures of our life. The human life is so precise and so meticulous that we fail to see it as a temple. We should praise it, honor it, and believe in it. There is no way the human body functions like it does, breathes the air that you can't see, creates and delivers a baby, and has a mind that stretches far beyond the world of creativity for it to be designed to fail. Each of us is a masterpiece to our own creation, and the limits are endless if we can see past our environment or our circumstance. We are not all born with the same gifts and talents, but we are all born with an opportunity to do something with what we were given. A dead end only stops a person who thinks the road is the only path going forward. The dead end is only the end of an easy journey. The wild is where we train and discipline our minds to see life for what it is, and that message is special. It's special because you are in it. The return of investment of your life will never be met or exceeded if you track every dollar. It's understanding that loss, setback, canceled project, or a failed event in your life gave you more than you could imagine. The intangible lessons learned or the experiences that made this life worth living are what gives us life rather than trying to prove there is a return on our investment. You can't do something only expecting to be paid in full. The terms and conditions can't be that precise. Who would want to live their life to be a story of very small fine print that is never read until it's too late? Set expectations for yourself, your family, and then take them very seriously. Catch up or get left behind. Family is important, but how can a family grow if the weakest link is always choosing to do life for themselves? That's the difference in a generation that hopes things will work out and one that says this mess ends today and here's how we're going to make it happen. You don't need to know every detail of the how, but refusal to accept the disappointment is where it starts. Sometimes just knowing, though, brings satisfaction. That's why we yearn to just know why, but it doesn't change the circumstance. Knowing, though, could reposition our focus. The trick isn't to foreshadow all the bad things so you can avoid them. It's being able to see the reality we live in as a matrix and know when to jump in and when to jump out. Being ready is something you earn. It's made from battle scars and experiences that set hard disciplines in place so you don't fall backwards. We will spend a lifetime picking up pieces from the life we destroyed. Let your wisdom of foresight be your strength through this pain. Life should be lived in forgiveness every day, and we must forgive ourselves. In order to forgive those who have hurt us, we have to set an expectation high for ourselves. This standard isn't to say that you're better than everyone else. No, it's to challenge yourself to flip that switch and aim high. No one else will grab you by the hand and show you all the wonders of the world. You must go out and get it. You must be on a hot pursuit to catch forgiveness, and then once you do, believe in it. Believe in what you can do for it when you allow it to enter your heart. You'll find yourself comfortable instead of emotionally constipated. Life has an odd way of revealing itself. There really isn't anything to prepare you for what it becomes because there's so many unknowns. We view pain as the reason for a hurt, but never give credit to when it elevates us out of a bad situation. Pain sometimes laughs in our face, and we continue to step in the ring and fight it. Pain provides an emotional attachment that somehow is different from every single person on this earth. It finds a way to enter parts of the brain that have never been explored before. Most suffer after pain because this uncharted area brings more confusion and grief than it knows what to do with. Pain, though, is also a gateway to new dimensions because even with its unfamiliarity, it's still you. We spend so much time searching for physical healing and comfort in our possessions that we miss the greatest part of our existence. That part is the piece of the mind that has the ability to control happiness, our mood, and even our fulfillment. Just look at the country we live in. The divorce rate is nearly 50%, with second and third marriage rates even higher at 65%. Looking at it from a business perspective, 20% of entrepreneurs fail in the first year and 50% within the first 5 years. As leaders of our personal and professional life, we can't allow this failure to influence or destroy us. We are constantly surrounded by failure. It must become the death of something dead to you and the birth to something that will bring life. We don't understand that our greatest success always starts at the bottom of a problem. The issue isn't the problem. It's your ability to see the problem as a placeholder in time. We fail to see that for us to reach success, we must have somewhere that we came from. First, we're terrible liars. We lie to ourselves every day. Secondly, we don't know what to do. We don't know what we want. We just know that we don't want in the situation that we're in. Thirdly, we don't know where and what we spend our time doing, so we don't really know how to grind and sacrifice. We tend to ignore our circumstance, putting our faith in the hands of hope, but not actually bring any action to it. Fourthly, we look at our others and mesmerized by their ability, but don't appreciate our own. Finally, number 5, we pursue titles and money, not considering the damage we can do when we are not ready, resulting in poor leadership. We don't understand how to lead people and what knowledge is needed to be successful and have people around us be successful. We all face an enemy, something standing in our way. Don't let it be the reason your success is stifled. Another strategy that yields success is not always focusing on your competitor's strength, but rather shift to their weaknesses. You should know your competitor's weakness and then complement it with your strength. What small piece will you give you an advantage? What weaknesses do they have that you will be able to build your confidence and strengthen it even more? The problem isn't knowing every detail about what or who you're up against, but increasing your awareness so that you can learn from them. This will force you to have conversations outside of failing and let you see perspective from a foreshadowing vision. This prepares you for when you're actually in the fire. If you fail to learn this, you will surely fail in the face of failure. This is how you increase your rate of success, by being a student of the game and a master of leadership. You should be constantly learning so that when one day and that moment shows itself, you are already prepared. Actively being aware prepares you for the pain that may follow failure. The pain is no less and no more from being aware, but it helps you navigate through it and avoid timely setbacks. Nothing can deny the lessons learned and the experiences gained over that time. Some will find themselves naturally gifted and well above the curve, but don't deny these trials and tribulations. Their place in time. You need street smarts and managerial smarts to peak the highest level of performance. Have the process knowledge, but know how to carry leadership to make sure people will follow your lead. You're ready and capable, but where you start can't be where you finish. meaning your maturity, your experience, your wisdom, and every step along the way should elevate. The people you find yourself surrounded with should also be elevated. However, I found most of them aren't willing to sacrifice, discipline, or change their habits. They really don't want to work on their growth, appreciate what they have, and how far they still must go. So don't find yourself constantly catering to these needs. You must always prove your leadership. You can never be above your situation even when you know you're better than it. It's what keeps you grinding to improve it and learn from it. At some point, leadership growth must turn into reality for others. You can't stay their punching bag and expect your life leadership to keep growing. Cutting people off and making stronger boundaries will cause confusion to those desperately following you, but it's the best path forward for both parties at some point. When I discovered the secret and understood enough to actually apply it to my life, the power of the mind, influence, self-control, and what wisdom could do for me, I became unstoppable. I don't give enough credit to what unstoppable means. We measure it to a standard so far out of touch that we don't realize victory is waking up each day, motivated to make a difference, and being at peace, knowing today's struggles will mean twice as much as tomorrow after we've gone through it. Consistency and being a stable human being is victory enough in itself. So why do we continually focus on pain and overlook what we want? We can be ourselves, but we must first know what we want, and it starts with going through the process to define it. Objectively looking at our situation from the outside. It's discovering it's been in front of us the whole time. Have you ever been confused in life about what you're supposed to do? Every time you apply purpose to your life, though, it just seems to get messier. Over and over, you question where you're supposed to be and to how you got in this mess. I want you to think about your daily thoughts, your daily routines, and what you're actually working for. Most of us will go to a job we hate just because it's paying well enough to pay our bills. We know we have a family to raise and take care of, so we just silently struggle. I think we all face that moment when we realize how small we are compared to the size of the world. If the number of people in this world actually comes into perspective, it's intimidating. You're lonely because you feel like you're doing this alone. Have you ever asked, what is the point? We are here today and gone tomorrow, and everything in between is a mess that we try to keep together. You can't let your deceitful and doubtful mind control your environment. This only leads to death, and that could be the death of your career, the death of your marriage, or even just the death of who you are inside. But if you let the Spirit control your mind, it can lead to life and peace. You must ask yourself for help. You must ask that your ways be guided and that the path be made clear. There are so many broken people struggling to find themselves because they've been hurt too many times and they don't trust anyone. You must connect spiritually so that you can be aware of who is who. Don't find yourself with the wrong crowd, and don't find yourself taking bad advice from someone who does not understand what you need. Everyone wants to sell the magic potion that can change your life or alter the outcome, but all we need is people who are pure and who are going to guide us and make our conscience stronger with strong, healthy decisions. Pain is piercing, but it can be powerful when we understand its promise. All of this sounds simple, doesn't it? But we all know reality plays out differently, and our lives are truly a mess that we are constantly untangling. Have you ever untangled a pair of earbuds, only to find it right back to its nearly impossible state? It tests you, and you're lucky to have enough patience. We must be fighters. It's why the struggle is real. We know the system pursues those who seek to better their lives. It's why you're reading this book today or hearing this story, because you want to feel it in your heart and you want it to be a part of something bigger. If we knew what it was, there would be no reason for hope. Without hope, then there would be no reason for faith. Without faith, there would be no reason to find freedom. We are to love this life with all of our hearts, our minds, and our souls. You are not alone. Those wounds may never heal, but they are battle scars that will carry over when this life has passed. You can't tell me that we will suffer and struggle to live a fulfilled and content life to have it all forgotten. There is hope for our future, and every great triumph is an amazing story to tell of that journey. I want you to smile today, but not because you're happy with every decision you've made or glad all those people hurt you in your life. I know you're angry and you've questioned the why so many times that the pain is now on repeat. I want you to smile because you're here. Yes, exhausted. Yes, beat down, but you're here. I can't explain why so much evil and suffering consumes our lives, but I know what it's covered if you will believe in something bigger than you. The problem is we can't see it most times or we don't understand it. Those who stop at nothing and pursue it don't get held up by the poison in the air and in their minds. They begin to understand this pain. We are broken, but not alone. We are hurting, but not alone. We can blame the system, but we are still living in it, and if we seek a fulfilled life by freeing our mind, then our spirit reaches new levels. We will wake up tomorrow the same as if we did today, but there is no guarantee it will turn out good on its own. Your passion and your focus must be intentional. You must walk by faith. You must remind yourself to be faithful and committed to your goals, and you must redefine what happiness means to you. Take your anxiety, your doubts, and drive purpose into your pain. That determination keeps you in the fight. It keeps you sane, and it keeps you grounded. Try to keep things simple and stop complicating it. Stop overthinking what was said. Stop letting your emotions manipulate you into fighting every single battle or drama, and stop believing that your only purpose is to exist without bearing any fruit. Stop believing that there's no chance because of your past or the environment you were raised in. We all get to view this world as a gift or as a curse. Think of a $20 bill that is straight and crisp, but then you crumble it up and stomp it. The value is still the same, maybe a little beat up, but it's still worth the same. No matter how beat up and bruised you are just as valuable to this life. The job isn't finished and there's work to do. People will let you down, but you must build up a wall big enough to protect yourself, but respect who you let in. Our universe is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and we'll never understand all the reasons why, but it's worth fighting for. You are loved, and the same love you have for your family, friends, or even your country should be for yourself as well. Fight for everything. Love the moment and live. Live your life knowing that the same pain that has pierced you has also defined the new you. You are an amazing person, but you must cry out to break the barrier, bury the bruises, and march forward being brave and bold. Say yes to what's next and have faith in yourself that you are strong enough to withstand the storm. There's a warrior spirit in all of us because even though the pain is piercing, it's also powerful because it moves us in a way that no other situation could. I have helped and watched some broken people pick themselves up and pull themselves out of some tough situations. I know that there is always a way out, but it may not be the way you planned, at your timing, and probably not something you'll boast about. You must remember to humble yourself and believe that at the proper time you will be lifted up and all of your anxieties and fears will be put behind you. We usually think at a young age we have it all under control, but as we get older and things get a lot harder, we realize we have no control. We must follow this advice and gain wisdom, patience, perseverance, and perspective of where we are in this moment. We also must have a perspective on where we want to be with exceptions and expectations higher than everyone around us. This is the only way for us to truly find it, because you will get knocked off course so many times that the only one who can fight through it is the one who dreamed about it, committed to it, and then reached it. Being in control means you have the ability to get back on track when you're out of control. How you live your life determines how much control you actually have. It also impacts everyone around you. Having both hands on the steering wheel does you no good if you fall asleep at your responsibilities, your attitude, or even your opportunities. Are we living examples for our families now and generations to come? This doesn't mean trying to achieve being a perfect husband, father, or mother, but does your family see you that you're always trying and that you're there for them? They must always see you pick yourself up, dust off the bad, and move forward. You must prepare your family for the worst, teaching them how to handle life, but reminding them to love and live. Say something as simple as, "I'm proud of you, you look beautiful today," or "never quit," or "find a way to work it out." Positive reinforcement matters when spoken at the right moment. Let them know that sometimes you get kicked down, but it's how you respond that matters. Help shift their mind from fighting the problem to solving the problem. Teach them to find ways to cope with the issues, training them to look forward instead of backwards at the excuse. How we face life determines the outcome. So what's your responsibility? You must understand your reality if you are to face reality. Do you not know how many people are awakened to their reality but choose to go back into their sleep, to their bubble, because it's all they know? If you don't face who you are and what responsibility you have, then you will never make it. You must be a savage servant and realize if you fail to prepare, then you should prepare to fail. At this point, we are not going to look back and we are not going to hold anything back. You will always question the how. How do I do it? You do it through commitment, conviction, trust, and belief in yourself that no one else can match. People can be proud of you, adore you, or even be disappointed in you, but they can't match the energy inside of you that makes you who you are. Go from wondering and worrying to just start working. Matthew 11:28 through 30. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.